Listen, y'all, they're putting a ban on what you can buy with your SNAP benefits. They're saying no more soda, no more candy. So yeah, that's what you're being faced with. I feel bad for people who need this assistance and they're being told what they can and cannot buy. Dictatorship at its finest.
So as of August of 2025, there are now 12 states instead of 6 that have approved waivers for banning the purchase of junk food with EBT. Those states are Arkansas, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. So because each state had to submit their waiver to the USDA separately, each one of the bans are slightly different. This chart is available at USDA.gov, but I am going to read some of the states along with the stuff that they are banning just so you guys can be up to date. So the Arkansas ban is set to take effect on July 1st, 2026, and they are restricting the purchase of soda, fruit and vegetable drinks with less than 50% natural juice, unhealthy drinks, and candy. The state of Colorado, their ban will take effect on March 1st, 2026, and they are only restricting soft drinks. The ban in the state of Texas will take effect April 1st, 2026, and they are restricting the purchase of sweetened drinks and candy. The ban for the state of Louisiana will take effect on January 15th, 2026, and they are restricting soft drinks, energy drinks, and candy. So as you can see, the ban in each state is slightly different because the state gets to decide what they want to ban from the program. And all other states on the list, Florida, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Utah, and West Virginia will go into effect on January 1st, 2026. So as of now, there are only 12 states, but I absolutely believe that more states will follow suit and submit waivers to the USDA to do the same thing.
In Louisiana, y'all ain't got nothing else more to worry about than these churn cookies, candies, chips, and cold drinks. Come on, sip a little tea with Auntie. Let's talk about it. So, people who receive SNAP benefits starting in 2026, I think January the month said, they will no longer be able to buy cold drinks, chips, cookies, and candies and all that. Meanwhile, we got potholes bigger than my car in the middle of the street. We got flooding so bad that, you know not to even pull your car out because, it's bound to go underwater and you could possibly drown. And y'all around here worrying about some damn cookies and candy? You don't think for a minute that these parents that receive SNAP benefits will find a way to go around it and still be able to get the damn chips, cookies, and candy for their children? Golly, come on now. As Louisiana ain't the only state, it's got a few more that jumped on board, but why even give the people the food stamps if you gonna tell them what they can buy, what they can and can't buy with it? I mean, damn, the children don't supposed to get a little chip, a little piece of candy. Ain't nobody saying that they supposed to have junk food for all y'all get on here and get all about. Them children don't need that type of stuff. No, they don't need it. But you don't give your children no fruit snacks. You don't give your children no, a little soda every now and again so they can burp. Y'all don't do that. Every now and again they get a little bit of the bad stuff. You treat them with a little bit of the bad stuff. Damn, why y'all always gotta be such food critics? Getting them children old, non-tasting ass stuff and think that's just supposed to be what they have all the time. Ooh, we ain't got bigger fish to be fried right now. Y'all ready about snacks? Thank y'all for sipping a little more tea with Auntie. Bye, y'all.
It's honestly so sad to see people cheer on this whole only allowed to buy certain things with SNAP benefits because I get it. People are like, oh, well, yeah, kids should be eating, healthy food. Yeah. But what about people who live in food deserts? What about people who live in neighborhoods where the gas station up the street is the only place, it's the only place they can go and get food because they either don't have transportation to the grocery store or it's just not a grocery store that is in a reasonable range to go to. What about that? And then what about the parents who leave their kids at home because they working to afford all these high-ass, crazy-ass bills? And they leave little microwavables and stuff like that so the kid can eat. What about these dang on teenagers who be stuck watching their kid, they brothers and sisters? And I'm just thinking about people that's actually in situations where SNAP benefits are realistic and how negatively that can affect them. And then I think about how much food in the grocery store is actually considered processed, it's almost everything. That's crazy that people are really, rooting it on, and it's like, well, I don't even get food stamps. And it's like, okay, well, how are you hating on people who can't feed themselves? That is crazy. Starting January the 1st, 2026, SNAP benefits is changing. Each state has its own restrictions. Okay, Florida is not going to be allowed to get candy, sodas, or any kind of Publix desserts or cakes. If y'all don't believe me, y'all better do y'all research. Y'all better check y'all SNAP benefit. Like I said, each state has its own restrictions. So y'all better stay tuned. A lot of things about to change come 2026. Period.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joy Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. The United States is on the verge of a major shift in how millions of low-income families can use their food assistance. Starting in January of 2026, several states, many of them conservative red states, will begin banning the use of SNAP benefits to purchase soda, candy, energy drinks, and other so-called junk foods. On paper, the move is being sold as a way to encourage healthier eating and reduce diet-related diseases. But for many people who actually live on SNAP, the reality is far more complicated and in many cases, deeply unfair. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. Let me play you a few more and I'll come back with my final commentary.
752,000 Alabamians get SNAP benefits. 752,000. That's a lot of people. And you know how many people work on SNAP? 600 people in the state of Alabama have as their full-time job administering SNAP benefits. And do you know how many grocery stores are completely dependent on the SNAP, those 752,000 people spending their SNAP benefits at the it is hard to understate how important SNAP is to our economy. We can't explain it. It's an enormous investment in keeping people fed, right? So cutting it is insane. And the Trump's big bill will result in the state having to pay a whole lot more for that program instead of the federal government paying for that program. And you can imagine what's going to happen, like potentially $300 million more that the state will have to pay. They're not going to want to pay that money. So the legislature possibly is going to cut further rather than have to pay $300 million extra dollars because we don't have, that kind of extra money in the bank. But I want to back up even a step further than that and just say people on SNAP are hungry. They're having to choose between paying for medicine or paying for food, or paying for housing or paying for food, paying for their kids' school supplies or paying for food. Some of them just are choosing between death and having money for food. Like, what moral world do we live in where people who are working can't afford food for their children? And even if they're lazy bums who won't work, what world do we live in that we think their children should starve to death?
So I haven't spoken on this yet, but here I am. So some states have eliminated junk food, snacks from certain EBT benefits. So if people don't know, I hope you know by now. You usually go to the checkout and that's when you see, what's off limits. Now, typically you would be able to get any food item with your EBT card that is cold. Like, you can't get hot foods, which is just so pathetic because people who are on EBT could probably benefit from having a hot food. Like, you couldn't go inside of Walmart and get a hot rotisserie chicken. You would have to get one in the cold aisle. Like, you would have to, these people already don't have as much money. Now they got to warm up their food. Hopefully they have a home, and I don't even know if like people who are homeless and stuff even get EBT, because you got to go through like these, you have to like prove that you live somewhere. You got to get the mail. It's all this stuff, that they require of you. But anyway, imagine not being able to like buy a soda, buy a Snickers bar. And if you don't know the history about those type of snacks like Snickers and certain chocolates and sweets, those were used as like a almost like a food replacement, a meal replacement during like the Great Depression. So stuff like Snickers bars and other like ones that have like peanuts in them, they were not only a nice little sweet treat to look forward to as a kid or as a family, but they were also like meal replacements. Like, those commercials were pretty accurate when they were saying like you need a Snicker, like to get through the rest of the day or to make yourself feel better. So to take that away from families, and then the fact that you can you could literally go to Walmart and buy a birthday cake, like a plain birthday cake. You would probably have to pay more to get like names and stuff on it, but you could literally go to the bakery and get some bread and get some sweets and stuff like that. I mean, to me, trying to take that away from people, that privilege, is just silly to me, because they're trying to say like, you don't deserve soda.
For years, this assistance has been a lifeline. In public schools, grocery stores, and rural communities, people have seen firsthand how SNAP recipients navigate life with the small amount of support they receive. The truth is, the system is already hard enough to survive on. Many recipients are chronically ill and can't physically prepare full meals every day. Some have children who must spend long hours at home alone and need ready-made or easy-to-prepare foods they can snack on without supervision. There are homeless families and families living in hotels who have no access to full kitchens and can't store fresh fruits or vegetables for long. In those cases, ready-made items, snacks, or even soda aren't just about convenience. They're sometimes about survival. What's especially frustrating is the idea that the government gets to dictate exactly how that small amount of money can be spent. For the people relying on SNAP, it's not free money. They're paying in other ways, through low incomes, through taxes, through the sacrifices they make to keep their families afloat. Food assistance helps them stretch their budget so they can put more towards rent, utilities, or other bills. Yet the public conversation around SNAP often comes with an ugly undertone. Jokes about people selling their benefits or shaming them for what they buy, as if poverty strips you of the right to choose. The shaming is relentless. Some people avoid applying for them altogether because they fear the judgment, and those who do use SNAP still have to put up with so many stares and side-eye in grocery stores. A person might be diabetic and keep soda in their cart because it works faster than juice to treat a dangerous low blood sugar. But with a stranger behind them in line, it's just another example of poor people buying junk. That kind of SNAP judgment shows exactly why these new restrictions feel so dehumanizing. They reinforce the idea that if you need help, your choices are no longer your own. For people living in rural areas, this policy is even more damaging. Some live in food deserts, with the nearest full grocery store 45 minutes away. All they might have nearby is a Dollar General or a gas station convenience store. If the government bans most of what's available in those stores from being purchased with SNAP, it's not going to magically improve diets. It's going to make it harder to eat at all. And let's be honest, children deserve treats. They deserve a slice of cake on their birthday. It's a small joy in a life that might already be filled with stress, instability, and scarcity. The restrictions on hot foods already in place are another sore point. Plenty of people live in motels with nothing but a grimy microwave. Some have no kitchen at all. In those situations, banning ready-to-eat meals is punishing people for circumstances they can't control. And for those working long hours, yes, most SNAP recipients do work. Grabbing a cinnamon roll or a ready-to-eat sandwich can be the difference between eating something now or going hungry until late at night. But apparently, the policy makers behind these bans don't think that's worth protecting. It's not just about health, it's about control. Many critics point out that the government is more interested in policing the diets of the poor than addressing the skyrocketing cost of food, the lack of affordable transportation, or the huge defense budget that swallows billions. The energy spent cracking down on whether a family can buy a soda could be spent on draining in corporate greed, raising wages, or making healthy food actually affordable and accessible. For homeless individuals, these changes are especially cruel. SNAP is one of the few supports they can receive, but if they can't buy ready-to-eat food, it becomes almost useless. Without a kitchen, and often without a fridge, raw ingredients are of little help. Yet instead of designing policy that reflects these real-world situations, lawmakers are doubling down on the idea that poverty is a moral failing to be corrected, not a structural problem to be solved. And there's another layer to this. Many of the states rolling out these bans are solidly Republican, places that overwhelmingly voted for leaders promising to protect freedom and cut government overreach. But now, those same leaders are micromanaging the lives of their own constituents, dictating whether a child can have a piece of candy or a can of soda bought with food assistance. For voters in these states, it's a bitter irony. They supported the very politicians now deciding that their personal food choices are a matter for government control. This is the reality behind the policy talking points. It's not about sugar or obesity or personal responsibility. It's about whether the government trusts low-income people to make decisions for themselves. It's about whether assistance is treated as a tool for survival or as a weapon for social control. And it's about the dignity of people who are already doing their best in a country where the safety net has more holes than fabric. People receiving SNAP benefits are parents, workers, neighbors, and community members. They're not asking for luxury. They're asking for the right to buy food that fits their circumstances, whether that's a bag of vegetables, a loaf of bread, a can of soup, or yes, a soda. This idea is about more than just groceries. It's about power, autonomy, and respect. Stripping people of the ability to decide what they feed themselves and their children isn't health policy. It's paternalism. And for millions of Americans in these states, January 2026 will be a sharp reminder that when you give certain politicians control, they'll take more than you ever expected. So what do you all think? Do you think the government should have the power to control what SNAP recipients can buy? And is this about health, or is it about controlling the poor? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, I have a few playlists on my channel, and if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, the Joy Report out.